to show you.
All right. Going into this, all right, first off, I didn't know this movie existed until Friday. When I saw a YouTube video
Opening day, yeah.
and went, why? And then I texted you. I said, what? Why?
And it's funny, I didn't know you didn't know about it because I saw the trailer for this in November when I saw Dr. Sleep.
We weren't brought here to have our own fantasies.
I want it, I got it. I want it,
We were brought here to be a part of something else.
I got it. I want it, I got it.
If you tried to really make this a lighthearted comedy, it would be the bomb of all time.
Well, this didn't exactly do too well either.
No, it's not doing well, but I think it's the smarter way to play it is to take it and turn it on its head. It'll take this silly, lighthearted 70s dramedy, and all of a sudden it's, oh, now it's Blumhouse's Fantasy Island. I'm like, okay, that looks hilarious. I'm going to see that.
See,
Right.
the thing is with that is see, right off of the bat, and actually how the trailers have kind of framed this as, is that you get it's like the monkey's paw, where you get what you wish for, but not what you really want.
The island's twisting what we asked for.
And they didn't do that at all.
No, instead they well, I would argue they did in a sense with the whinging sort of wishy-washy, oh, not every fantasy goes the way you expect it to.
Which would be fine if that was
the truth,
what they were actually doing.
Yeah.
But it turns out in the 110 minutes of the movie, 96 minutes in, it just takes this entire weird
Complete
twist.
turn away
So-
from where it's meant to be going.
What the hell is this place?
See, the determination for me, because it's a fucking Blumhouse movie, the mark of quality.
Well, no, you keep saying that about Blumhouse, but they have put out some stuff that has been good.
Yeah, but
the majority
their
of stuff
mean
I've enjoyed.
average is not good.
It's
True.
their mean average is bad enough so that it's entertaining, and that was basically my threshold here. Is this good
Okay.
enough so that it's actually an entertaining
Name a
film?
Blumhouse movie that is not Halloween 2018 that you would recommend to people.
The Belko Experiment.
Have you seen that?
No.
It was pretty good.
All right, name another.
Another.
There is an elevator. In the elevator, you press the button to the floor with no name. Behind those doors, there's a life you always dreamt of.
All right. So, Blumhouse, we're starting off in the red. I think we generally agree on that.
And the fact that it's a gritty horror remake of it's a gritty horror remake of Fantasy fucking Island.
Again, if you're going to do
Why?
anything with that property, that's the only way to go. Where else could you go?
Why
If
would you do anything with that property?
Good evening. I'm Mr. Rurik. Let me officially welcome you to Fantasy Island.
Fantasy Island!
I'm curious how this all works.
What if your fantasy involves a person from your life?
Holograms, like Tupac.
What if it's somebody who died?
Tupac.
Let's talk first about what is Fantasy Island. 1977 to 84 it ran, and it starred Ricardo Montalban and Hervé Villachet. Famously, the pilot episode, look, boss, the plane, oh, my little friend, all that shit. Everybody knows that much about Fantasy Island. And so every episode, there'd be several guests arrive on the island to fulfill their fantasies. You put it pretty succinctly earlier. You said, a bunch of people with their own problems would show up, and then each of them would have an A plot, a B plot, a C plot, and their stories, their problems would be solved by their fantasy or whatever they experienced, and then they'd get on the plane, and then the two would wave and goodbye, and then credits. That was every episode of Fantasy Island. Extremely formulaic. This film follows a very similar format for about 2/3 of it. About acts 1 and 2 are roughly exactly that. And then, there's a very weird part of this movie in between act 2 and 3 where it starts off really stupid and then it continues to be really stupid. And then for maybe 5 or 10 minutes at the end of act 2, all of a sudden I was like, this might be brilliant. Because it seemed like everybody's fantasy was converging into one, and I thought if they stick the landing on this could actually be really, really good. And then I'm sure you've already guessed, no.
It just goes full stupid horror movie.
I mean, I'm not sure what would have made it work.
Like,
if I'm being honest, I'm not sure what even could have stuck the landing, but
it's a gritty horror reboot. There was no way that this was ever going to be actually like good. The most that we could wish for.
Those 5 minutes though, when all of a sudden their stories were all coming together, I said, "Oh, this might be really well written."
A story element that might have actually been okay.
Right, like the father, the thing with the father and the son, and he died because of a grenade, and then it coalesces with that other story where the guy's holding the grenade, and we're like, hold on a minute.
Is this all going to like?
Have they gone back in time?
And then, and then meanwhile, the chick is doing the. All right, let's actually get into kind of like the plot. You've got your. I don't even want to go into.
You
the
don't
plot.
want to.
It's like, okay.
I hope you're ready.
So, yeah, like spoilers. Turns out that
we're not recommending this film.
Yeah.
Don't go see Fantasy Island. So, okay, you don't need to. Spoilers, go ahead.
So as it turns out, first, the entire actual movie itself is you get everybody has their base fantasy that they just kind of live out, and everything's working okay. Now,
A lot of sex stuff.
Immediately when I thought this and the way the actual trailer was presenting it was going to be the monkey paw thing, where and for a little bit the Nerdy Brothers kind of had that going
At first, for about the first act, it does seem like you make the wish, you get what you want, and then it fucks you up
and
because
it twists,
I didn't see this coming.
Like, for example, the nerdy guys have, like, the baller lifestyle, and it's just drugs and money and all this other stuff, but it turns out...
I will say they were the funniest part of the movie.
Yeah.
Chastity, very disappointed in you. That was good.
It turns out that, like, it's drug money, and they kind of play the whole movie with Elizabeth Hurley as the devil thing.
Yeah.
Like, he wants to be famous, so he dude's a drug lord.
It's a dark, gritty reboot of Bedazzled.
Yeah.
¡Ay! ¡Es cocaína! ¡Cocaína! ¡Oh, mierda! Soy un narcotraficante colombiano.
So they have that, like, kind of like dark twist, and then the regret lady ends up, like, she wanted a family.
Regret lady.
I mean, that's basically what she was. And then it's like, she wanted a family, and it turns out, okay, now she has one, and she doesn't
want it.
She has retrograde opposite amnesia, where she now just has memories of 5 years with this daughter or whatever.
Which
like
I thought was clever, actually. Clever, it might be going a bridge too far.
So Drunken Thought she wants to torture this high school bully, so she takes an elevator down into, like, a torture chamber with the chick, like, strapped in, and she is convinced that it's all holograms. And then you've got a dude who wants to play soldier. He wants to basically kill people. He wants to kill people.
His dad died in Venezuela 20 years ago.
But we're not
27.
Really, like,
27.
When all
months
this
and 5
stuff
days,
kind of when it starts to get into kind of like the dark twist thing, it's like he wants to play soldier.
A lot of twists.
Soldiers murder people. It's their job. They are trained, and they're he wants to kill people to play soldiers. The drunken, like the two brothers guys, the two actual bros, just want to be hedonistic and drunk and everything like that. Everybody but the one chick had kind of a selfish wish.
Right.
So I was thinking that they were going to get the ironic punishment, but she just wants to,
She wanted to make something right that was wrong.
Right. Whereas they just wanted, some kind of, basically a selfish wish versus something that was non-selfish. So I thought it was something like that. Like she was going to be the one that kind of ends
she'd
up
be the
okay
final
at the
girl.
end.
Right.
Yeah. But that ends up not being the case. And then you think, okay, so there's this overarching theme of this like black liquid stuff, and there's snake imagery
all over the place,
everywhere. You know how much snakes have to do with the movie? Zero. None. There's nothing to do with snakes. It's just a visual thing.
I have to believe that there was something in like the first draft where there was some kind of snake.
It was like
god.
snake venom that was in the water or something like that.
Something that made it happen that had to do with snakes, but it was just, his ring was snakes, and the symbol of the island is snakes, and the base
there's snakes all over the office.
And there's snake imagery everywhere, and there are sea snakes in the water, and it doesn't mean anything.
And the sea snakes were like creeping up on Soldier Guy when he was wading through the pool in the cave.
And then they turned into hands.
And
by the way, worst cop ever.
Yeah.
Remember, he's supposed to really be a cop. He wanted to play soldier, but he was really a cop, and he was
bad at
really
that.
bad.
Yeah. So there's this. So it does kind of get dark. Obviously, chick who gets in the Saul room is just like, when she figures out that it's actually torturing someone.
Stop right there. Figures out. That's the hole I was talking about.
But here's
how
the
is
thing.
she like, this is such a realistic hologram? Whose benefit was she doing that for?
Right.
Nobody's in there with her, and the
plot
victim
hole.
can't hear her.
Right.
And I'm like, who is she acting surprised for?
The audience.
No!
Well, yes, but...
Oh my god. That's really her. Rourke, this is not what I meant.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my god. Stop fucking lying.
At the tail ass end of the movie, it's revealed that
after the credits,
this burnt ass zombie dude was the Drunken Thoughts not boyfriend.
They only went out once.
One date.
Which was the funniest line of the movie. Easily. They went on one date?
Like, that was... Like,
she was madly forever and ever in love with a guy she had one date with.
Right.
She was obsessed.
And decided that the woman who accidentally set the apartment on fire, and a couple of guys that had nothing to do with it, and a cop that was standing outside, all had to die for it.
They were roommates.
Yeah, they were his roommates.
Dude. They wanted to go, and because he wasn't supposed to be there or something. Doesn't matter.
They were roommates with him, yet weren't in the room with him and didn't know he was there.
They were
in their apartment building.
No, they Brack's new tattoo says, we thought he was in his room with a girl, so we didn't bother him, and we were getting ready to leave.
Hey, the building's on fire. You might want to fucking get out.
Okay, so I guess they did deserve it. They didn't even bother to go back for Nick. They're like, fuck him. The building's on fire. We're just going to leave and not say anything.
Yeah.
So the entire thing was to get revenge on those people by...
killing them.
Was it, though?
Killing them, but making them, like she said, you gotta let them know why it's happening first, because it's not revenge if they're just oblivious.
Yeah, but like, had everything not gone wrong with regret chick and her like, oh no, this is my actual regret, then she would have just had a normal, nice day with her new family.
Yeah. Maybe.
Like... I mean, granted, the military guy is kind of coming together and having their mishap, because it turns out guy who wanted to play soldier is running a mission to rescue hostages that are, in fact, the two bros.
With his dad.
Right.
Yeah, they're apparently in the first 10 minutes of Predator.
It turns out there's this magic crystal that reflects your deepest desires, and water that hits it turns black.
Yes, it's magic.
Magic.
Though it wasn't like...
Magic.
That water wasn't
kind of like
black.
the mushrooms that Blumhouse was eating when they made this movie.
No, it's just... No, because then it would have, like, been interesting.
I get it.
You want to go see it again?
No.
No. I'll put it to you this way. I saw 2 brand new movies this weekend. And I would very much rather sit through Sonic the Hedgehog again than watch this again.
And that featured a guy who actually did kill his girlfriend.